Well, welcome back to the Pro Brick exclusive YouTube channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, otherwise known as Pro Bricky exclusive YouTube channel. We also have a Pro Bricky Facebook page, which I'd encourage you to look at if you like brickwork and things. But let's get into it, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe, ring the bell. If you like the video, comment, like, and share. And let's see what's going on here.
Okay, so the question is, how do you avoid a justified affair perception? And first and foremost, I don't believe any of my content has the intent to justify it. It's more so of this is what happened, so kind of just factual, and then how to navigate life after the fact.
How
Now,
about navigating life before the fact? This is where modern society's fallen over, viewers, if I could say. The fact of the matter is people aren't navigating relationships the way that they should. There's always a bend towards unresolved. It's not fair on the people they're involved with. It usually surfaces after the relationship's well established. And a lot of the time people have faithfulness and loyalty culture within them that doesn't allow them to let go. Guys, I want to tell you something. If you want to be a superhero, have the power to be able to walk away. You'll be doing the person a favour. If they've got their heels dug in, doubling down on an unresolved issue, and you've made it perfectly clear that it needs to be fixed, the pressure that will come on them to be unable to resolve or unwilling to resolve that issue will cause them to have an affair or do something stupid anyway. You got to let them go. Unresolved always is going to produce negative consequences to the relationship, and you will get the blame for it, whether it's your fault or not. Please listen to me, guys. I'm telling you from how I'm at 57, 50 years experience, 49 years of experience. I had my first girlfriend at 8 years old. So, do not mess with women that are deliberately maintaining unresolved, because the unresolved is more valuable than you. And you've got to identify that and be able to either get a therapist in to help you, but usually that won't work, because women are very stubborn, and so are men when it comes to issues which could be resolved, but they don't allow to be resolved. And this is where everything breaks down, through unresolved.
now in I would say, mature conversations, two people can understand that there are different factors that affected a person's ability to even get into an affair. I think there's low level thinking of, well, you're just a shit person. And there's higher level thinking of, oh, there were certain aspects at play in the relationship that were breaking down that allowed this to happen. And
Now, can you see that? There were certain aspects in the relationship that were breaking down that allowed this to happen. Well, why weren't they addressed? Guys, please listen to me. Please listen to me. If there's things that are breaking down in your relationship and you are unable by duress to be able to fix them, you better put an emergency on it, because you don't want to come home one day and your missus is getting banged by another bloke. Or she comes home and her undies are full of somebody else's jizz. It happens every day, guys. It's a matter of not laying down the law and saying, you will live by my rules. Women, that just makes them worse. It's navigating the problems on a day-to-day basis in a way in which it's beneficial for both of you and is honouring the relationship. People don't want to honour relationships these days. They want to honour how they feel. They want to honour where their loyalties are. They don't know how to set boundaries up. Their loyalties are fucking all over the place, and they end up a mess. Like this woman. This woman completely destroyed her marriage. They don't recover either.
so I'm more towards well, let's just investigate what was happening and how, at least for future reference, could know how to handle the situation better.
See, by the time you're married, I know because I was a minister. I know I used to do the 6 week pre-marriage training things and for these people and all that. I've seen people get married and be broken up within 6 weeks. 6 weeks. I lost heart. That's why I got out of the ministry. I saw too much darkness amongst humanity, because being a minister seems to bring out the dark, and I couldn't handle it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have the calling. I keep saying I did not have the calling to. I was all right in the boys' home. I could go up the boys' home. I could minister on the streets. I could go up to people and all that sort of stuff. But when it got in behind closed doors and you actually saw people that you wouldn't even think would have darkness, mate, I couldn't handle it. I just psychologically, I could not take it. So I got out. I got out altogether. These adults, and let me say, they are adults that are married, that seem to be unable to manage their relationships maturely. What the problem is, it's the, again, I said it before, it's the mixing of the two souls and spirits of the people and the ingredients of these people and what it produces within them. You say, oh, well, that relationship started off really well and everything seemed to be going really well for those people. And then all of a sudden, things started to go bad. It's because they weren't staying aware of what the product of the two of them together was formulating. Well, you say, well, you can work these things. Yes, 100% you can work them out, but you've got to be fully aware on a day-to-day basis how to. And that's why I've never had a trouble with talking about the issues. It's confronting for some of the girls that I've had. But I think in the long run, they appreciate it. It might wear them out, but I'd rather wear someone out with trying to navigate a relationship than just watch them sink to the bottom and fucking drown. At least they swam to shore. They might, you know how, you've been caught in the breakers at the beach and you've gotten to shore and you're lying on the sand. If you come into my world, right, this world of mine, which is blessed, I'm completely blessed where I am in life, and I'm grateful, thank God, for all the losses and injuries and damage that I've had, psychological, physical and everything. If you come into my world, you will be blessed. You will be fed, you'll be intimately looked after, you will be respected, you will have company, you'll be bathed, you'll be blessed as you go to work, but fuck with me, man, and you'll be lying on the sand. That's it. Because that's not the way we treat the people in our lives. Yeah, you give people chances and all that, but you've got to think quick. You've got to test fast, fail fast, and adjust fast. Because, mate, when you get up around my age, 57 going on 60, you ain't got time to fuck around with people's lack of trying to help themselves be the best that they can.
Now, my ex and I had a very unique situation in the sense that we had so much history. Start to end, there was like 16 years of us.
That's not unique. I've had girlfriends that have been married for 20 years, 25 years. They complain that they should have got out of the marriage 10 years earlier. It's fucking unbelievable, some of the shit that they'll tell you. I don't understand that. Oh, I should have got out of the marriage 10 years before. Man, give me a hard time for a week and I'm out. My last wife gave me the shits for 4 weeks. I stayed at my daughter's place one week. I stayed at my sister's place one night the next week. And the week after that, she was told and the son were told to go. They tried to take over the house. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Drove me to the point where I said, you people need to leave, and you need to leave now. And they did. Took her a week or so to find a place, and off they went. Regrets it now. Oh, totally regrets it now, because women bonded their children as surrogate partners, and then the children, get on with what they've got to do because they're selfish, and the woman's just standing there like an idiot. And so they come crawling back like a fucking turtle trying to make its way to the ocean, and you're standing on the shore and you just go, keep going out into the ocean, because you've given the best of yourself. And if that's taken for granted, there's no reason for you to entertain that person anymore, because they will take you for granted again. You've got to just be real. There are evil, undeveloped people in this world. They're subject to their own evil. And you don't need to be.
Only a portion of that was us married, but the rest of it was some type of relationship.
Fucking some type of relationship. I challenge any of you to ask my girls, right? My women that I've had, maybe not my first wife, but the other, my first wife, I will always justify that woman as being completely worn out and broken. And that's just what life did to us. And, she has reason to be excused. But the other ones had, in a way, what she didn't have. They had it a whole hell of a lot easier and a whole hell of a lot more blessing. But they still didn't have the character to be able to navigate it. We here, where I live in my world, we want to keep things clean. We want to keep things fine. And if you bring stuff along that needs to be resolved, it's going to be resolved, or you will be resolved. And that means maybe you have to leave. And that's just the way it is. You have not got time to fart around with people that aren't sure about themselves, because they'll string you along if you let them. Now, it's different if you're married. Oh, well, is it different if you're married? All the woman's going to say when it breaks up is you're a bastard anyway, And
yeah, I mean, people who say that what I'm saying is just a justification, I really just kind of let it roll off my back, because everyone is seeing these stories from a different point in their life. Maybe they just got cheated on, and so all they see the pain and assume any kind of conversation around someone else's role contributing to it is just hurtful, so they just want to reject it. Versus,
I just want to say too, this Sheila is all on her own. What'll happen is, guys, I'll let this finish and then I'll just fill you in on something.
maybe the person who did cheat on someone and does feel bad about it and is trying to figure out what happened and why it happened, they're going to resonate differently. They're not just going to assume that this is a justification. They're actually interested. Or talking about, say a man whose wife left him and he never understood why it happened or where it was coming from, and they're just watching because they want to see what I have to say, because they never heard her say anything. And so I'm not trying to avoid this justified affair persona. I'm just not really addressing it. Everyone's going to see it how they see it, and it's going to land for them where it lands, and just hopefully it can at least reach a few people and be helpful.
Look at the face there. I've seen that look on many a girl. What I was going to say earlier is, and I've lost my train of thought. Fuck it. It was pretty important. But I don't want to have a bad ending here, but a lot of these girls, they just don't find their way and they end up alone. They end up all alone with maybe a dog or a cat or a ferret. Some even like reptiles. But one thing's for sure, they end up alone. They meet people that they can't bond with, and it's a pretty miserable and sad ending for them in a lot of ways. When you abuse something that God's given you that's a blessing, you better know what you're doing, because the consequences might be irreparable. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison on the ProBrick exclusive YouTube channel, otherwise known as ProBricky, and we'll catch you on the next one.